Hey, we are here hanging out backstage with Jimmy Eat World at the State Theater in New Brunswick during their East Coast trek, I will say. So I'm going to let you guys sort of pass the mic down, introduce yourselves, then pass it back to me because we got a couple of things that we want to ask you for G-Rock Radio.
I am Jim. I play guitar and I sing.
I'm Zach, and I play the drums.
This is my friend Tom. He plays guitar and sings. And I'm Rick, and I play the bass.
Rick does the talking for Tom.
Yeah, really, Tom's not speaking tonight. He's saving his voice for the show. First of all, congratulations on Chase This Light. What a great record. You guys did so well. I think week one debuted at, was it like number 6? Debuted at number 6?
Thanks. And it debuted at number 5.
Number 5? I was one off. Just so great, especially in this sort of musical climate. The cool thing I think about you guys, about Jimmy Eat World, the thing that I've always really liked, one of those bands that sort of kind of, it was the story that you did it on your own, kind of. All right, we have a record deal. This is great. Got a record deal, going to put out a great record. Oh, right now we're without a major label deal. We're still going to put out a record. So tell me a little bit about when you were a new band, because you guys are sort of pioneers now. What was it like, you know, sort of coming up and kind of doing it on your own? You know, you guys came out a little bit sort of early for the MySpace era. So you can't really credit, you know, your success with, you know, being a MySpace band or a YouTube band, but you guys really did sort of set the precedent for doing it on your own.
Yeah, I think I mean, even now, if you were to start a band, or if we were doing this band and we were in the same position we are now that we were in 1999, I think we'd probably still do it the same. I think it's just all about being proud of your record. And, you know, we've always felt like the less you need to rely on an outside entity to do your work is, you know, you're better off for that. I mean, that's the position we were in when we were making Bleed American. It was, you know, just us and our engineer in the studio, you know, no label, no management, no, you know, paying for it ourselves.
Was that a great feeling? Was that like a real freedom feeling?
Yeah, but it was less strange than it might sound. I mean, a lot of outside people are like, you know, well, that's so risky, that's so crazy, you know. But for us, it was just a really logical thing to do. You know, we'd been touring pretty regularly, all, you know, through our I guess I can call it a career now. But I mean, what we saw from our perspective was every time we go to a city, you know, that we'd played maybe a few months before, we'd be playing bigger shows, maybe a bigger room. So it just made sense that, like, yeah, this is what we do. You know, let's pay for this record and, you know, see what happens from after that.
Well, let me ask you. You said our career. Do you guys feel like you're sort of veterans now? I mean, I look at you as Jimmy Eat World as a band that sort of ushered in a new sound of punk. You know, kind of early, I don't want to say early emo, but a little bit of the early emo stuff. Do you guys feel like pioneers, or does it still feel like spanking brand new to you?
I don't know. I don't think we feel like pioneers at all. I think we just, you know, when we started, we were influenced by bands that we really loved, and, you know, bands like Fugazi and, you know, a bunch of other bands. But I think that we don't really look at ourselves as pioneers. We just sort of, you know, we have made records that we're proud of, and that we just sort of, we don't really overthink the particular direction we go in. We just sort of do it, and we end up with a batch of songs, and we try to make those songs the best they can be. So, I mean, from our perspective, you know, I don't think that we're really, I don't think we blazed any trails, and I don't really think we were punk at all. But, you know, we definitely were influenced by bands who had an ethic of doing it on their own. Even though we were on a major label, we were influenced heavily by other bands that sort of had more of an independent spirit. So I think we took that on in a different way, just because we weren't independent. We were on major labels, but I think it's helped us, you know, kind of build a fan base and get to where we are now.
Well, it's the same kind of, even more so, I think you have to just get out there and do the work if you're on like a big label, because it's not, if you get a big record deal, I mean, there's people out there that spend their whole lives like just trying to get signed. You know, that's like making it, but that's not even close to the beginning of the work that you have to do. I think it's a myth that you sign a big record deal and then all of a sudden you're playing arenas, or you know, that's like that's kind of funny.
Well, also let me ask you a little bit, because we're talking about the music industry. With a current business model for a lot of bands now, like Radiohead, saying, "Hey, you know what? We don't need anybody at all. We're just going to do this on our own." Do you think that that's a cool thing, or do you think that's going to really make it hard for new artists to sort of get recognized? It's easy to do it if you're a Radiohead. If you're Jimmy Eat World, you guys could probably do something like that now, or Nine Inch Nails. I mean, what do you think with up and coming bands today with a new business model?
I don't know. It's really an exciting time to be, you know, making music. Exciting and volatile.
I think it's hard to judge that, just because all these bands that are starting to do that, they've gotten where they are through the sort of conventional way of making records. So for Radiohead and for Nine Inch Nails and for bands who have, you know, loyal fan bases, they can do that. But then what about bands who need a leg up to get started, to need to get supported somehow? And so I think those bands are really kind of caught in a fix, because, you know, there's so many bands out there. Through technology and through the web, you can get your music out there, but then that just means that there's more people doing it. So you're competing in like an ocean of music people, you know, like the supply for music is so much more than the demand, you know. So it's like, well, how are these young bands going to get to the point where bands like Radiohead are, or, you know, bands that can, in 30 years, are there going to be bands that can tour the world and sell out arenas? That's the question, you know.
Yeah, interesting. Definitely an interesting question to ponder.